how we manage it in our house is, especially overnight, is that hubby gets up and changes the nappy. That allows me to go to the toilet, which is like pelvic floor care after birth, and then get myself set up, and then I do the feed. Obviously he can't do that part, and that seems to be working for us in being able to share the load. But my question was around Bub falling to sleep whilst feeding. There's been a few articles that I've read written by Tresillian, which I view as a trustworthy source. I thought was a trustworthy source, around not letting babies fall to sleep while feeding and how that sets them up for bad sleep routines. We're not really into the whole routine aspect of it, but is it as bad as what they are writing about? Because I feel
that Stacey.
Yeah, I think
the great question.
I'll let you finish. Yeah, it's a good question. What did you want to say?
Ellie's feeding. I'm not feeding her to go to sleep, but she's falling asleep while feeding.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Babies naturally fall asleep at the breast, and it's okay. Let me tell you, it is okay. I think the problem is we have so much messaging out there that it's not okay and it's a bad routine. And I did read Trying to Trace These Things last night, and I shared it with my mothers this morning, just one little thing snippet, which was, we talk about routines, and it's really not about a routine. The baby gets in a pattern. Remember your wording, Tracy? Gets in a
rhythm.
Pattern. A rhythm, yeah, sorry, pattern, rhythm. But we kind of have this goal that our baby needs to be in a pattern and a routine, but they won't ever be in a routine. I mean, some people we know do schedule babies. We put them on a strict scheduling routine, and there's books out there that guide us to do this, and that's that scheduled parenting. And down the other end, we have attachment parenting, which is more feed the baby on demand. And we want to be down more the attachment area. Babies naturally fall asleep at the breast. It's normal, and it's okay to let them fall asleep at the breast. If we think, oh, that's only been 5 minutes and it's the middle of the night and we want you to feed a bit more, it's okay to change the nappy, wake them up a bit more, strip them off their clothes, put them on the other side or put them back to that breast. There's no right way to do this, Jess. And if your baby's having a short little feed in the middle of the night, going back to sleep and sleeping for another 3 or 4 hours, it's fine. It's no problem. I think, we do think that Tresillians, they are very good resource and they're a good thing, but they are very much into getting our baby into a routine and, expectations. But in all their literature, they talk about responsive settling as time goes on. And responsive settling is all about settling our babies in our arms with us. It's all about following the baby's needs. And it sounds like you are doing that beautifully. So I think don't be concerned by letting your baby fall asleep. But if you think, gee, I would like you to feed a bit more because I don't want you to wake in an hour, some people try to then wake their baby up to fill their tummy a bit more, to have them sleep a bit longer. There's that type of terminology that's been around for a long time. What we know, Jess, because you're still in the thick of it at 3 weeks old with a baby, by 6 weeks they will be more efficient and they poo less at night. So that's a really good thing. So feeding will be much quicker as nighttime feeds come along as time goes on. You don't have to change the nappy if it's just wet. You can just do the feeding, and instead of being 20 minutes, it might be 5 or 10. Every baby's different, every mother's different, but it's worth the wait and worth this journey that you're on, because it's a beautiful thing. But does that kind of answer some of your questions?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I couldn't work out how to not let her fall asleep. Like she's doing it. Like, do I just sit there and pinch her to keep her awake? Like, that didn't feel like the right thing for me to do.
You already knew, didn't you, Jess?
Yeah, I did know, but then you always start second guessing yourself. And when my mum had kids, which was 30-something years ago now, she's made those slide comments of, oh, you're making a rod for your back, or, oh, you're going to regret this in 6 months' time. And I'm like, but how else do you do it? Like Ellie's telling me what she wants. And I'm giving her that. So why would I not do it that way?
Yes, and you're doing it beautifully. So it's all about baby-led now. So the change has happened from 30 years ago. We can't spoil a baby. That baby can't be cuddled enough or breastfed enough. We do go for in-arm settling. It's okay. Like, your mum, oh, you're spoiling that baby. don't do this, don't do that. You have to, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of that circle of security, Tracy, if you ever talk to your mums about that, and that shark parenting, everybody telling you what to do and all the literature out there. But really, you are learning your own intuition now, and you're growing that as you're parenting along, and in ebbs and waves. And I think just following what you feel is the right thing to do. We are guided now to be infant-led. So the baby's going to tell us what we do, and we follow the baby's needs and cues. So watching your baby, which is, I think, what Tracy promotes all the time. So I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think it is interesting, because how do we politely say to our mum, oh, thanks for that information, and then do what we want to do, you know what I mean? And not take that on board. And it's about selectiveness and growing your own intuition of what you feel. And I think you're doing that beautifully, Jess.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, well done. It's hard. 3 weeks you're in the thick of it. I'm shocked you're here. Like, it's, beautiful that you made it to come.
Yeah, I think having these conversations is really valuable, because you start, you know what your heart is telling you, and you know what your baby's telling you, but then you have all these people who you think are the role models or the people who know, and then you start second guessing yourself. So having this reassurance in this kind of space is beautiful, and it's what I need. Yeah.
And, it's all about, we often think as first-time parents, you give it up a second time, but we want to do... sorry, I'm at my work. We want to do what's right. We want to do the right thing. We have this big pressure on us to do everything the right way. And Circle of Security talks about, you can just be a good enough parent. We need to let that go a little bit. But with that, being the right parent builds our anxiety, doesn't it? And I mean, I still suffer with anxiety, and coming on here was making me anxious. So we just layer it up, don't we? And I think that I'm doing the best job I can, and I'm following my baby's lead, and it's okay. And I think sometimes we just need to say that. Circle of Security says, I need to be the good enough parent. You know what I mean? Get it right 30% of the time is all they say. If we get it right 30% of the time, we're doing okay. So I do think you're doing a beautiful job. And I think it's great.
There's